Good afternoon, hello, welcome back to the channel. We are here for a second day on the trot, which actually I'm doing quite well with my consistency levels because, as I say, I've kind of done videos, but I've kind of left it a few days. But I thought I would do a new video today, and it's great to be here once more. We're going to be predicting the SkyBet Championship table for this season. It's certainly going to be an interesting stream to see what my guests have to say about where each team will be finishing. Just a quick one, I decided to rebrand my channel, as you're probably aware, with the logo in the top right hand corner. So it was obviously Ryan Navy TV, but now I've kind of changed to Huddersfield Town Fan TV, which has a nice ring to it. And I like the logo as well, which kind of came up with yesterday. So yeah, a completely new, fresh design, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, just to let you guys know what is happening on that front. But yeah, we're gonna start, and we're gonna welcome on a guest that was with me yesterday actually as well. So yeah, welcome back onto the channel, James. Hello, welcome on in. Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on the channel with me, and we're gonna have some good fun predicting where we think each team will finish. It's always a good one. It always sparks lots of debate amongst people. So it's something
we'll have to come back at the end of the season so you've got the highest score.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do actually. Yeah, well, like I said, I've got it noted down here. So yeah, let's keep to our word, and let's do that come the end of the season. So yeah, guys, as always, if you do want to get involved, please let me know in the chat what you think, like I say, as we go along, which kind of positions are. If you want to just give me your full league table, and we'll read that one out as well. So it's up to you how you want to get involved. It'd be great to hear from you in the chat. But yeah, let's get going. Hello, Matthew. Welcome on in. Hi, welcome. But yeah, let's get going. Now I'm gonna put my teams on the banner bit, and then obviously I'll hand over to you. So yeah, we're gonna start from the bottom, obviously, because that is obviously the logical way of doing it. And then I'll kind of give a brief explanation of why I kind of think that this team will finish where they will be doing as well, just to let you know. But yeah, let me just hang on. So yeah, we're going to get going here. So in 24th place, the bottom of the table, it has to go to this team because I just feel like they got very lucky last season, and if had it not been for Derby's maybe misfortune with the ongoing issues off the field, I don't think they would have got away with it. And they always seem to be lingering around that relegation zone. I just don't think they'll be as lucky this time. So in 24th place, I have to go with this team, and it is going to be Reading, who I believe will finish bottom, in my opinion. Just my opinion. But yeah, they have got lucky. They're a poor side, really. And I just don't see anything changing. And they see, like I said, they've been lingering at the bottom for a few years. And yeah, I don't think they'll get away with it. But anyway, I'll repeat myself. But yeah, James, who do you predict to finish bottom then? Yeah.
To finish bottom, I've gone for a club that have almost had a meltdown in the last couple of weeks. They've lost a manager, they've lost key players. No one knows what's going on club. I've gone for Birmingham City.
Nice prediction. Nice prediction there.
I feel with Birmingham, they're always a club where they feel a bit like what we were before we went to the Prem. Like you never saw them going down, but they were just sort of competent enough to stay up. But I feel like the wheels are starting to come off, and if you're not progressing, there's only so much you can sustain that before. Unfortunately, I think for the club, a year in League One might give them a kick up the backside they need to get going to where they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree with you there, to be honest with you. And now let's go on to 23rd. Now, given this team 23rd, because, like I said, they have a lot of ongoing issues off the field at the moment. Like I said, they're another team that's kind of struggled over the last few years. There's a lot of uncertainty about the club. They've still not managed to bring in any players, and that just means that, to me, that they're not going to improve this season. They may get worse. Like I say, off the field distractions, well, you know how it is. It is going to be difficult for them. But for me, the second relegation side to go down has to be Birmingham. I really do believe that because, like I said, the ongoing issues off the field is not ideal. It still seems to be rumbling on, and there doesn't seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel at the moment with this Bassini bloke who seems to be messing the club about a bit. But yeah, like I said, they haven't brought in any new players, and to me, that just obviously with the issues off the field, becoming the priority, But yeah, it's a difficult one for them, and I can't see them surviving this upcoming season. James, who have you gone for 23rd?
So I've gone for a team that's come up from League One.
Right.
There's always one team who gets promoted in this same main division where you just feel they haven't really got a chance. Like they're just there to enjoy the ride. So I've gone for Rotherham because I feel they've lost a key player. Good for us that Greens has come back to us off loan. I just think for them it's just a case of budget, and they're sort of a bit of a yo-yo club, and I don't see that changing this year. So I think Rotherham are the team that's come up where you think, oh, okay, well, let's just enjoy the ride. Let's have a nice time. So good luck to you, Rotherham, but I don't see you staying up.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I do like Rotherham. I think that they're, and I hope that they do stop that trend of going up and down this season, because I just, like I said, it's actually a really nice stadium to visit. I don't know if you've been, but it's actually a nice stadium. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be tough for them. It always is for the promoted sides. I think all the promoted sides that come up, first and foremost, it's just about staying in the division, and obviously Rotherham have to aim for that. But yeah, good shout. So in the last place for me, I've chosen this team because, again, I just feel like they're a team that maybe, they have struggled over the last few years. Really been towards the, kind of the bottom end of the table. And I think they were another team that maybe got lucky of staying up last season as well. Yeah, I have to give it to Hull City. I think that Hull are a team that, I mean, they have made a few signings, to be fair to them. They've actually got that youngster from Chelsea, Nathan Baxter, which potentially could work for them. He's quite a good player, but I just can't see them doing much this season. I just feel like I just fear for them. I don't. It's just something about Hull that I fear for. But yeah, that's my decision for who I think will be in 22nd. Yeah. What about
20,
you?
22nd, I've gone for your 24th. I've gone for Reading.
Right.
Again, they were a bit dire last year, and obviously they would have gone down if Derby hadn't had their points deduction. And they've got their own off-field issues there to sort out themselves last year. I don't think Paul Ince is going to see out the season. Nothing against him. I don't think he's as bad as everyone makes out he is. But, when you're at a club like Reading, they're going to want a scapegoat, and it's going to be the manager. So, yeah, I find it interesting that you think all three of the promoted sides are going to stay up, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, I do. I just think they'll just stay up by the skin of the teeth. But I just think that obviously, definitely Wigan and Sunderland anyway, that the teams that have been in this league, they know the league, they have managed to stay in the league. And then I think Rotherham got something to prove again this season, and they'll be doing even more than they've done in the past to make sure they stay up. And I think that the team spirit will definitely get them over the line. But anyway, yeah, that's my prediction for the relegation, and then obviously yours, James. Very interesting to hear your thoughts as well on that. We're going to move up the table swiftly to 23rd, and I'm going for Wigan. Wigan are a team that obviously just got promoted, but it's great to see them back in the Championship actually after a few years out. I think that they're a great club, and it's good to see them back on the rise to the Championship for sure. I think it'll be difficult for them. I'm not disputing that, but I just think that they will have enough to stay up just by the skin of the teeth. And yeah, best of luck to them, because like I said, I do like the promoted sides to do well when they come, to be honest with you. think it's nice to see, new kind of teams in the chat, even though they've been there before. We haven't seen them for a while in the Championship, so it's nice to see them back. That's my prediction for 21st. What are you going for in this one?
I can't disagree. I've also gone Wigan at 21st. I think they'll stay up, not so much because they'll improve and be ready for the Championship, but I just think the other three are going to be so off the mark that it will help Wigan out. A bit like how when that first Premier League season we stayed up, we had a good start, and the rest of the league was so dire that we could just sort of cruise control. I think Wigan will be in the same situation. Like, they'll get a few wins. They'll be a difficult team to play at the DW or whatever it's called now. I don't know if they've changed the name. I just think the other three are going to be so off the mark that Wigan can just sort of 21st isn't comfortable, but like they'll be in the relegation battle without being in the battle.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, fair enough. And like I say, they haven't really brought in many new faces, have they, Wigan, either? They only made 2 signings from my recollection. So, maybe they, not saying the team that they had in League One won't be able to compete at Champions level, because, sometimes you do get a team that maybe are in League One, but they have actually got a Championship team overall. So maybe they feel that they've got the players to be able to stay up. So I think they will anyway. Now in 20th place, I have to go for this team because a lot of people are saying about this team that because of the size of the club and how many fans they've got, that doesn't actually play any part in this. And people are saying they'll do well because of that. I don't believe that, because it's about what's happening on the field. And I think that, like I say, all the promoter sides that do come, it's about staying up. And I don't think this team is any different to Wigan or Rotherham, respectively. So in 20th place, I have to go with Sunderland. I think that they will be comfortable, like I said, but they will be in a relegation fight. I do believe that because, like I said, they have got a big fan base. But I just think that, like I said, the first season, it's always going to be tough. So yeah, that's my prediction.
So for 20th, I've gone with Hull.
Yeah.
I think last year, them getting rid of Grant McCann was a mistake. I thought McCann was actually making Hull overachieve a bit. They looked quite I know they weren't the prettiest side to watch, but they looked quite difficult to beat at home. And when McCann went to Peterborough, after some rocky performances, showed up like they were beating teams 5-0 by the end of the season. So I think this season they'll do enough to stay up. I think it's going to be another season like last year where maybe they start well and then sort of tinker off as the season goes on. I just think they've not been that impressive in the transfer market so far. It's almost like they're just hopeful that what they've got is enough again. And, sometimes it is, but it's not the most exciting thing. So I think Hull are just on a roll to 20th. And you should be grateful, Hull. Accept it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, guys, we are actually going through the table, but if you do want to post your, predictions, then feel free to post in the chat. Now, let's go to 19th then. I'm going for this side because I feel like they'll be in the relegation battle, but I still feel like they've got a lot to prove, and they want to break that trend. I believe that this team will stay up. I think they'll have some good moments, but they'll also have a bit of struggle as well. I have to go with this team, and I have to go for Rotherham in 19th because, and to be honest with you, it's just about staying up for them, as it is with all the promoters, like I said earlier. But I think that they've got a side that can. I think that a lot of those players are probably thinking to themselves, obviously they want to stay up and not keep, yo-yoing. Now it's interesting actually because they've actually made made quite a few signings as well, to be honest with you. Connor Washington, who was at Charlton, now obviously he's quite known. And I think he's a great player, him. Tom Eaves, they've got that Tom Eaves from Hull, who actually did quite well with Hull, actually, in all due respects. With what actually, kind of not much quality around him. But yeah, I'm waffling on, but I just believe that Rotherham will be 19th, and they'll all be happy come the end of the season rather than sad about going down once more.
I've gone for, I think, for 19th. This might be the first controversial one, shall we speak. I've gone for Blackburn.
Right. Oh, wow. Fluffy,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've gone for Blackburn. I just thought last season they started okay and they disappeared off the radar very quickly. And I feel with Blackburn, they're a bit like us, either they're doing well or they're nowhere. And I feel that a nowhere year is coming up for Blackburn. Um, yeah, I just think they're going to be 19th. This is one of those ones where, though, I'm fully expecting them to end up in the playoffs now. I've said this. Yeah, I just think Blackburn are one of those clubs where they're just going to sort of disappear out of the public mind for a bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that obviously it's actually interesting one that they actually said that, to be honest with you. But if you look at it though, they've only managed to bring in one player, and that was a free, and then they've lost quite a number of players as well, if you look. So, yeah, really, like I say, probably most of those players that have been released, quite a few release, wasn't really in the picture anyway. So you could argue maybe not much of a loss to release people. But yeah, it is one of those. But yeah, interesting. Coach, well, come on in, by the way. Hello there, Hannah. Hope you're well. You think Blackburn will get playoffs? Well, I'm not saying anything just yet, but we'll move swiftly on because maybe I will agree with you. But yeah, anyway, just a bit of it. Anyway, we'll go on to the next one. Now, in 18th place, I've gone for this team because I just think that they're a team that kind of obviously seemed to struggle last season defensively more often than not, because they did score quite a few goals just defensively. But yeah, I can't see much change really for this team this season. I have to go for Bristol City in 18th, in my opinion. I just think they're a club that it may take it may take a year or two for them to be able to maybe reach the top end of the table and pushing for the playoffs. I don't think they're ready just yet, and I just think that I could just see them having a bit of another disappointing season like they did last season, from their perspective. But yeah, that's my prediction for 18th.
I've gone for 18th. The virtue of being here in they're a club that honestly, when I was putting this together, I forgot they were in the league. They make such a little impression on me, and I think that they're going to be mid-table without setting any fireworks off. That's Preston.
Fair enough. Yeah, good shout.
They're just going to sort of quietly limp through the season. No worry of relegation, no worry of promotion. They're just going to cruise to 18th and just enjoy being in the Championship for another year.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Nippon Sports. Welcome on into the chat. I really appreciate it. Big up yourself as well. Cheers, pal. We're going to move on to the next one anyway, and we're just going to take the comment off because otherwise I'm going for Cardiff City in 17th. I really do believe that. I just don't know. They just don't seem to be. They're a team that are just there again for me. They don't really add much to the league. I don't particularly like the way they play. I just think that they're just there. I think they'll have it. They'll be all right. They'll stay up, but I just don't think they're going anywhere. I just don't think they're going up or down. They're just there. So that's my opinion for that.
I have to agree with you. Again, I've gone Cardiff for 17th. I thought there was so much almost reliance on Bale coming in.
Yeah.
And now he hasn't. It's almost just sucked the life and momentum out of the club. And that has an impact on just how you'll start the season. I think Cardiff are a club that will start slowly and come to life after maybe the January window. I think they're just going to be a team. They'll be clear enough that there's no threat of relegation. They'll be one of these teams where, even though they're 17th, you're like, oh well, they're 10 points off the playoffs, so maybe with a run, and then the run never comes. They'll be sort of that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, again, we seem to agree on a few of these predictions actually, so we're actually on the same page, kind of. Not much, but we're kind of. So we're going to move on to the next one, which some people may be surprised with my prediction, but I do think they will struggle in the Championship because I've kind of been vocal about how the club is run. I don't agree with how the club is run. They don't give managers a chance. I think that in the in the Premier League they really struggled, and rightly so went down. But I think that they're not going to go down, but they're not going to make a name in the playoffs for me. People may be surprised with this prediction, but I have to go for Watford. It's a bold move, I know, but I just can't see them doing much this season because the transition from the Premier League to the Championship is not easy. And even though I could kind of contradict myself with my later on predictions, I feel like they're not in the best place at the moment. Whereas I think the likes of maybe, a Burnley are in a better position than they are. I just feel that. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Watford fans, but I have to go with what I think, and that is what I'm going for.
I've gone 16th. Not as bold as that. I've gone for Swansea.
Yeah.
They seem to be going through almost a reset period. And as we know, that can take a couple of years. They had a massive drop off when Steve Cooper went. And I see they're either going to get another 16th finish or around that, or they'll be up the top. There's no in between. And I just think they're going to have another season of almost just trying to find their feet again. Another season of Swansea trying to look more long term than going out for immediate success.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it is one of those, isn't it? But yeah, nice prediction there. So 15 players I've gone for this team because again, they kind of I don't think that they offer much to the league. I just think they won't go down, but they won't make a name really for themselves. Like I said, they've kind of struggled really since they came down from the Premier League a few years back, and they haven't really been able to mount a challenge of maybe trying to get back up to the Premier League, and I can't see that changing this season. So for that reason, I have to give it to Stoke. Stoke in 15th place for me. But yeah, like I said, I think that they're a team that will be inconsistent. I feel like, like I said, I just feel like they still need maybe a year or two before they can maybe push for to try and get back to the Premier. But they just don't. I just don't see it happening this season, in my opinion. But yeah, what are you thinking for 15th?
15th, I've gone for Bristol City. Similar one. I just think that they just seem to be a club that always is in cruise control. Like I've never seen them have a majorly difficult year or an amazingly good one. They just scream championship, and they're one of the teams that again I think most people will forget about being in the league. They're banana skin. They're a club where you always, when you come against Bristol, think we should win this. Yeah. It's disappointing when you don't. So yeah, I just think Bristol are just going to sit mid-table and enjoy the ride. I seem to be saying that a lot, but I think there's a lot of clubs that are quite content being mid-table, and Bristol are one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shout there. Now in 14 players, I've gone for this team because I feel like they aren't going to be challenging. Like I said, they'll be quite content to be in this position, but I don't see them going down either. It's always a great away trip to go to this one, and I'm glad we get to go there. But not so much that we're going there in the winter time. But yeah, it's still a great place to go. And I'm gonna go for Blackpool in 14th. I really am because I think that they'll have their moments this season, but I just don't think they'll maybe be able to find that consistency that'll take them, close to the playoffs or even challenge for the playoffs. But I just think they're gonna just sit comfortably in 14th, in my opinion. But yeah, what are you going, James, for this 14th?
I've gone for Sunderland, the last of the promoted teams. I think they are a big club, and I know they're struggling in League One. I think they'll come up, and I think just the momentum of Sunderland on the way up again. I don't mean I've seen some of their fans seem to think they're playoff contenders already. Yeah. We know, and it can happen, but it's not. I just don't think. I think they'll take 14th. They'll be miserable about it, but I think that'll be a nice finish for them. And I think the Championship's a good place for Sunderland to be. It's one of the away days I'd like to do. Difficult because it's midweek. But yeah, I think Sunderland are going to be in 14th. I think now at this point you're looking at teams being closer to the playoffs than they are relegation. So I think
Yeah,
Sunderland will be pushing. They'll be one of those teams where, like, okay, they're not in the playoff race, but should a miracle happen or a team have a collapse, they'll be ones that think hoping to take advantage of it. But I also think Sunderland are going to have a good cup run this year. Now they're in the third round. That'll be something for them to focus on.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I've kind of put someone lower than you, but yeah, I see what you're saying with them, obviously. And then the fans that think they're going to go straight challenging for a playoff place, I just think they're getting a bit carried away. They need to be a bit more grounded. And maybe as the season progresses, they may have a bit of a reality check, but we'll have to see what happens.
Watch them smack us up 5-0 now or something like that.
Oh, God. I'm very much looking forward to going to that stadium, actually, because I've not been to the stadium, so it'll be great to tick off the list for sure. So, yeah, that'll be a great away day to attend. So, yeah, 13th place for me again. I see this team, having their good moments again, but struggling for consistency. I just don't think that they're going to have enough to push for the playoffs. So yeah, I just think this team has to be Swansea. I just think that Swansea, I don't know, they just seem to be there again. They don't need to add much, but they are a solid Championship team. So yeah, I have to go with that and say that. Yeah.
I've gone for a team beginning with S. I've gone for Stoke. Similar reasons for you. They don't seem to have. They're a team that they were such under Mark Hughes, such a piece of furniture in the Premier League. You could almost guarantee they'd be 10th every year or around there. And when they've come down, they just seem to love mid-table regardless of their division. And I think they're a club that could do with a couple more signings. And they're a club that are capable of probably pulling off big signings, but none of the players they seem to have brought in the last couple of years seem to have really settled in to the standard you'd expect maybe at Stoke. So I think 13th, they win the bottom half. But again, you're looking closer to playoffs at this point. The gaps between these teams are starting to close up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how close it is actually. From the positions, obviously.
It wasn't that. The gap was quite close this season. Like you could always look all the way down to West Brom, and they were mid-table, like for the playoffs. So hopefully, it's another season like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm just for some reason my prediction has gone a bit weird. Hang on.
AKA, you've changed your mind halfway through.
Yeah, I just think that no, because I made a prediction on my on my phone, and then I've kind of not updated it on the app. So that's what's happening here, guys. Now this team made a late. Well, they was kind of in the playoff picture at the start of the season. They dropped off. I just don't think that. I just don't think they'll maybe have that kind of. I don't think they'll kind of pan out that way this season for them. And I have to go with this team for the reason that I think that they are a decent Championship team, but I don't think they can sustain a playoff push for me. And for that reason, I have to go with Coventry City in 12th. A comfortable position for them, but maybe give it maybe a few years, and they may potentially be able to be consistently maybe push for a playoff. But for now, I feel like they'll have a solid season. They'll have some great moments, but the consistency I think is the problem with them, and I just don't think they'll have that again this season. But yeah, who are you going for in 12th?
So 12th, I wondered which one of us would blink first. This is a club that overachieved last year to everyone, and it was a great time. There's a bit of uncertainty around the club now. No one knows what's going on, what's going to happen. So because of that, I've had to go for 12th place, Huddersfield Town.
Oh, blimey, has that changed since Carlos left?
That's changed since Carlos gone. When Carlos was there, I was thinking 8th, maybe. I didn't think we'd have as good a season, but I thought we'd be comfortable. But I think Carlos going, I think we've gone 12th because either Danny's going to do a decent job or he'll be replaced inevitably at some point and there'll be a manager bounce to swing us some momentum. But yeah, I think 12th. I think we're going to be mid-table, which, for Huddersfield, we don't do that often. So it probably won't happen because we're either right at the top or right at the bottom.
No.
But yeah, 12 for us.
Fair enough. Fair assessment as well, by the way. But yeah, like I say, who knows what happens this season. In 11th place, I have to go for Preston. I think that Preston are a team that they just haven't got enough to be pushing for a playoff place. But I just think they're comfortable in 11th place. They won't go down. But yeah, so our teams are kind of these positions, from maybe 11th, 12th. But they're a bit teams that you're just a bit unpredictable. You don't really know what to say about the teams because they just seem to be.
They just exist.
Yeah, they just seem to be happy where they are. There doesn't seem to be any ambition from the club. But it is one of those. But yeah, I'm going for Preston in 11th.
So in 11th, I've gone for Coventry. So not far off from where you said them. Similar again. I think Mark Robins. Obviously, we know what he's like as a manager than before. I think he's improved over the last few years, and he's got a bit more stability as a coach. I think Coventry, a good team without being spectacular. We know they can be a pain sometimes to play against. They're another banana skin. I think they're a club that are slowly working their way up. I think they've got a couple more seasons before they can have a genuine ambition to have a crack at going up. But I think just another steady season of winning more matches than they'll lose. 11th place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good prediction. Matthew agrees about the mid-table. And yeah, of course, it's one of those, isn't it? It is, difficult. Now, in 10th place, I'm going to go for a team that overachieved last season, let's say. I don't think anybody expected it, even their fans didn't expect it, and they had an amazing journey. They nearly got to the final, but they just came up short, unfortunately. But for me, I think this team will have a solid season. They will be in and around the playoffs. There's no doubt about that because they're a great team. But I have to go with what I think, and I have to go with Luton in 10th for me. I think that'd be a very good position for them. But I'm certainly thinking they will be around the playoff picture, which they will be. But I just don't think they'll maybe be able to do what they did last season. But yeah, that's my prediction. Who are you going for 10th?
I've also gone for Luton in 10th.
Right.
I think they're going to have the hangover of the playoffs is going to sit with them at the start of the season, but they'll get back into it, but probably too little, too late. I think they'll pick up a lot of draws, a lot of home wins. But I think just the way you looked at how they reacted to the playoff loss, there seems to be a bit of hangover around the club. And they're not a bad team. You don't become a bad team overnight, but you're looking at fine margins at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the fine margins, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, of course, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, moving on to the next position. We're getting close to these playoffs now. This team, I think, gets held back. I've chosen this team to be ninth because I feel like at the moment they're still being held back by a manager that is so negative with the way he plays. I just think, why they're sticking with this guy is just unbelievable, really. And yeah, they kind of had an okay season, even though I don't really know what they expected last season. But I think a team of this kind of stature should be looking for the playoffs. But I just can't see it under this manager. And for that reason, I have to go with West Brom. West Brom, now they have made a few signings actually, West Brom. Like Jed Wallace from Millwall, which certainly made an impression there. And that John Swift as well from Reading, who was a very talented player. But I just don't see. I just think their manager holds them back. Steve Bruce, I'm sorry, but I just don't think you are the manager to take West Brom forward. I think you're just so negative. I think there's still a lot of negativity around Steve Bruce at the club as well. I don't think many people want him there. And yeah, that can kind of transfer off the pitch. But yeah, I can't see them getting into the play. They'll be in and around the playoffs, but I can't see them doing it, unfortunately. But yeah, who are you going for in ninth?
I've gone for a London club. I've gone for QPR.
Yeah,
Purely because I don't think I've ever seen such a meltdown like it that we saw at the end of last season. It's almost a bit like the Leeds meltdown that year we went up, how they were almost certain for automatics and finished seventh. Yeah, I don't think they'll have such a meltdown. I think they'll get their act together. Yeah, I just think QPR are going to have a season of they'll be hoping for a bit more consistency, and the cost of that consistency will be missing out on the playoffs by about 8 points, I reckon, or something like that. They'll be, but yeah, they'll be thereabouts, and I think they'll be a team where you can't overestimate them or underestimate them. Like they'll be a team where you've got to put your first team out, but I think more often than not, they'll just be looking for a comfortable season, and that's what they'll get, a comfortable one in ninth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now in 8th place, this team was in and around the playoffs. Didn't quite make it last time, but I feel like they're going to be in the same position and just fall short again. Just like I said, they are a good side on the day, but again, they're just lacking maybe that extra quality to take them into the playoffs at the moment. And yeah, I see them in the same position. I don't see much progress, but to be solid in a position is still a good thing, because I think that maybe in the next few years they may be able to make that step to the playoffs. But for me, I have to go with this team, and I'm going for Millwall in 8th. I think that they will certainly be there, and they are. Like I said, they have runs, don't they? And then they kind of drop off a bit. But I still think that they'll finish in this kind of similar position that they did last season. And yeah, that's just what I think. Who are you going for in 8th?
In 8th place, I've gone for Blackpool, the Pleasure Beach Island.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I just think they're a club on the way up. The Blackpool juggernaut.
Yeah.
They're on the. I don't think they'll be in the playoffs, but I think they'll be a team that, for the most part, are always in the talk, and they're going to miss out just slightly, just purely because they just don't have that last bit of quality to push them over the edge. But they'll be up there all about, and I hope they do. Blackpool club I've soft before. I think we all enjoyed their wild run to the Prem that year under Ian Holloway. So
yeah, we certainly did, and like I said, I love Blackpool. I really do. I think they're a great club, and it is one of those that they are kind of a. Yeah, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Blackpool. I do like them. I do like going there, and I do like them as a club. And like I said, that runs the Premier League was special for them. How? I'm just going to ask you a question, Mark, before we go next on to the other teams. Would you say that the playoff race will be as tight as it was last year, or how do you see like the position maybe from, let's say, 10th? To that final place in 6th, can you see the gap being very minimal? Or...
I think the top 5 are going to run away with it, and I think 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are going to be about 6 to 8 points between them.
Yeah, so quite.
I think 5th onwards, almost like they'll be maybe not in the order they are, but they'll be the top 5. But 6th downwards. They're going to be a fight up. And I think they're the more exciting ones, isn't it? Where there's one spot for 4 clubs. They're the exciting ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you say that club that nicks at that spot are normally the ones that go on to win it.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be very interesting to watch them. And like I say, I am actually really looking forward to the season starting, which for us starts 3 weeks today against Burnley, which is going to be fantastic to welcome Burnley back. Like I say, I like Burnley. I think they're a great club, and it'll be great to welcome them back, obviously to the John Smiths. But yeah, bring it on. In 7th place, I've gone for QPR. I think they will just miss out, but I think they're a team that I do think that they're always in and around. Like I say, maybe last season they were a bit unlucky not to get in, but I think that they will kind of push a bit more this season and potentially just kind of fall short ultimately. But it's going to be close. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about QPR. I think they just like I said, they will have the moments. They are, they do seem to be a strong top side team, I would say anyway. So for that reason, I just think they'll miss out this time, but I think they will be up there for a place in the playoffs. But yeah, who are you going for in seventh?
In seventh, I've gone for Millwall. So one off, what you said.
Yeah.
I rate Gary Rowett as the manager. I'm surprised he hasn't had bigger opportunities. I do think he's a manager to watch, and it won't be long before he gets his opportunity in the Premier League or a top flight somewhere. I think more hope that Millwall miss out than anything. I just think they're a decent club, and they're not a club anyone enjoys playing against for one reason or another. And then I think that will help them across the line. But I just think, again, it's going to be that last bit of quality. And I think there's more and more of a sense of entitlement than desire. And there is a difference. There's a desire to be good and a belief you are good. And yeah. I think Millwall sit on the wrong side of that, and that's going to cost them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good shout there. Very close for our prediction. Now let's get into the playoffs. What the playoff spots now? Obviously, it's top six. So in sixth place, I've gone for this team because I just feel that this is their time to really make a name. They just missed out on the playoffs last season, but I think they'll get in this time. I really do. They showed qualities at times. They're a very hard team to play against, and I just see them. I've just got something in my mind that tells me that they will make it. They will get in there this time because it's their time. So in that perspective, I have gone for Blackburn Rovers to just get the sixth spot in the playoffs. I just think they will get it. I think, like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but I do. I think that they will just get into the playoffs. Because they have been close, recently, and I just feel like they can now make that step up. Now, a year later, they can make that step up into that playoff place and really, push to get back to the Premier League. Which obviously they are a team that have been in the Premier League and kind of consolidating themselves in the Premier League for a number of years. And obviously getting relegated, it's hit them hard, and they've had to come back and. It's been a long process to get to this point, but I just believe that they will be able to get that place in the playoff this time. Who have you gone for in sixth?
So I've gone for my first relegated side. I've gone for Burnley. Again, I think coming down, I think it's been a while since they've been down, so there'll be a bit of a culture shock. But I actually think Vincent Kompany's not a bad appointment. I think he'll respect a lot of. He'll command a lot of respect in the changing room. He's a good player, so hopefully he's a good coach. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how his ideas and philosophy go and how their preseason goes. But they've lost a few players, so I don't think they're going to be blowing the league away. But I think they're going to have enough to keep themselves in the playoff race. I don't think they'll be the playoff winners. I think they're going to be knocked out in the semis by the team I've got third. But I think they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, of course. Good shout there. Good shout. Now, in fifth place, this is a team that, really did have a fantastic season. Obviously, getting to obviously the semi-final of the playoffs was a big achievement for this side, and they just missed out. Actually, could probably find themselves lucky that they couldn't actually get to the playoff final. Just fine margins in the playoffs, of course. With decisions and things like that. So, but yeah, I think they're still going to go again. They're going to regroup. They're going to go again this time. And I'm going to go for one of our Yorkshire neighbours, Sheffield United, for me in fifth. I think, like I say, I think they were very unlucky to miss out. And yeah, they've not really brought many people into the club this summer, but still time. We've made a loan signing for Tommy Doyle from Manchester City. Again, presumably one of the youngsters, and if you're at Manchester City, you're going to be quality, aren't you? So I think that would be a good signing. I've not heard of the guy that they've signed from Malmo, but again, it's undisclosed fee, so they have paid something for it. But yeah, I'm waffling, but yeah, it is one of those. I have to go with Sheffield United in 5th for me. What about you?
I've gone for a team that I think will make the playoffs and be knocked out in the semi-finals. I've gone for West Brom.
Yeah,
I just think last year was such a one-off. I think if they have a year like last year again, they're in trouble and they won't be in the Prem for a while. But I think there's going to be such a quick. Bruce is already under pressure. I think Bruce will deliver. I don't think he's that bad. I think he knows the Championship well. I think he did all right with Newcastle. I think there will be a turnaround. If there isn't, I think he'll be out the door relatively quickly. And they'll probably have their eyes on someone like Corberan, to be honest, to come in and fix them up, which would be painful to see, but it's the reality we live in with football. You know, you never get your heroes around for too long. I think West Brom they'll be in the playoffs without being spectacular. They'll just sort of grind out results, get there, and be knocked out in the semis by the team in 4th, who I think will be promoted when we get to them.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to say what I think get promoted just yet, but I think that may be a bit too early. In 4th place, I have to go for Middlesbrough. Now, Middlesbrough, again, a team that just missed out on the playoffs last season, but I think that they've got the foundations there to really push this season. I think they really have, and I think they'll have a solid season. And yeah, I do think that, you know, like I say, it's a great club as well, by the way. Obviously, they're another team that have been in the Premier League. You know, a great family club. You know, when I went up there, it was great. You know, they're so friendly towards away fans and things like that. So, but yeah, I think the quality on the pitch, though, ultimately, I think they have got enough to get into the playoffs this time and really, you know, try and get promoted. But yeah, that's just.
I'm smiling because I've just worked out what club. I was going through looking for my list again. What club has he not mentioned? And I've just worked out which club it is you haven't mentioned that I put lower down. So, you know, optimistic. 4th place, I've gone for Watford. I think they will get themselves some playoffs kicking and screaming, changing as many managers as they need to. It's a expensive model, but it's one that works for them. I think it'll get them back into the Premier League for them to be never to be relegated and rinse, repeat. Yeah, I think Watford they'll be 4th by sheer willpower of getting themselves there.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair point. Now, in 3rd place, I've gone for this team because it's not you think. I've gone for this team because I still think they'll be in the playoff, but I don't think they'll be as. Obviously, over the years, they've been a very yo-yo club, up, down. And I don't think they'll find it as easy this time. I really don't. I still think they'll be, you know, relatively pushing for an automatic place. But I think ultimately they'll just come up short, and they may have to settle for a playoff place where it's a lottery, and they may find themselves disappointed come the end of May, or whenever the playoff final may be, with obviously the disruption to the season with the World Cup. So yeah, whenever it is that they're back into the season, I have to go for Norwich, who yeah, they're.
I'm not chuckling at Norwich 3rd. I'm chuckling at who you've put in the autos.
And I'll go into it in a minute. I just feel like I said, I watched Turf House Mill TV. You know, obviously down a Burnley fan that I've kind of got to know on YouTube, and he's kind of giving me some optimism. And yeah, I just feel like maybe we will. You know, anyway, I'll get into it in a minute. But my 3rd place team is Norwich. Who are you going for in 3rd?
3rd place, I've gone Middlesbrough. I think Chris Wilder is a good manager. And I think when he came in, you saw Middlesbrough, one of those clubs where I was hoping they did make the playoffs because I thought they'd be a pain to beat. Obviously, in the end, it didn't matter if they did or not for us. But like they're one of those clubs I really didn't want Huddersfield to come up against them because of the run they were on. Yeah, and I know we dispatched them quite easy at the Riverside, but they were just one of those difficult teams. I think Middlesbrough are going to get 3rd, and they'll be you're looking at a playoff final, possibly promotion, and I think they'll miss out on 2nd by a win or a draw.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, good shout there as well. Like I say, you're good to obviously see Middlesbrough in the playoff race. Well, in the playoff actual picture, they were kind of outside, weren't they? Really, for a playoff. I don't think anybody really, because they kind of obviously got close to the playoffs, but they did make a really last minute run and they kind of slowed a bit. So yeah, it is one of those. I hope to see them in the playoffs, and we both agree. Again, very close prediction between obviously Middlesbrough in that one as well. Now in the second place, I have to go with a team that I think are very much hurting from the playoff final, and I believe yes, okay, we've kind of the dust is kind of settling over the news about Carlos Corbin leaving, but I think that if you look at the bigger picture here, we've still managed to keep the squad together so far. Of who managed to obviously finish third last season. And let's be honest, had a few results maybe gone our way in a few of those games, we could potentially have been in the automatic places. It's just the fine margins as well. I think that and also we've added a few more names now, which makes me feel a bit more optimistic. Obviously, Kasumu was especially. I think that he's a really exciting youngster to have at the club. I think that he'll bring something different, something fresh, and I think he will really contribute to this next season. And obviously Conor Mahoney, I mean, he's another solid player that obviously has done fairly well at Millwall. Admittedly, I don't know much about Conor Mahoney, but obviously I've heard of the name, and obviously he has maybe done well at Millwall in places, but he's wanting to kind of make that fresh start. So again, another optimistic signing that has made me feel a bit better over the last few days. And obviously, earlier on in the window, obviously Boyle coming in. Another solid signing as well. He was obviously at the club before. He's gone away. He's really developed his game. He was very highly thought of at Cheltenham, and I just think that we'll see a different kind of player this time, and I think that he's one of those no-nonsense defenders that you need in the back line, and I think that he'll really help our defensively as well. And like I said, when you've got Lee Nichols in goal, one of the best keepers in the league, you're gonna be up there. I'm afraid. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, the defence has to do their duties as well, but I believe we've still got that strong foundation at the back, and I just see it. And obviously with Danny Schofield, obviously taking the club forward now. I mean, in hindsight, obviously yesterday maybe I was a bit harsh on Danny. I wasn't trying to belittle him at all. I wasn't. So let's make that clear. I think that he's been at the club a number of years. He also played for us and had fantastic memories with us when he was playing. He knows the club inside out. He'll have his own ideas that he'll bring to the table. And like I said yesterday, no manager will know what to expect from him. And I think we may see more of an attacking style from this Huddersfield Town team now. Now, I'm not saying we weren't attacking under Corbyn, but I think that because Danny Schofield was that attack-minded player, I think we'll see that on the pitch a bit as well. So yeah, it is exciting. I just think that we will use that hurt of the playoff final to go on better this time. We haven't lost that many players, even if we maybe lose Lewis O'Brien, which potentially may happen. We've still got we're not a one-man team. We've still got the core group that has that really made us achieve last season. Oh, okay, we're missing one of the most exciting managers that we've had in recent times in Carlos, but I still believe in this group, and I had to go with it. I'm sorry for the long explanation, but I just wanted to explain it in more detail rather than just thinking, oh, he's just being a bit biased about it. I'm not. I'm just saying I think that this can be our year to get automatics. I really believe that, but we'll have to wait and see.
I wish I had the optimism. But if we go out and smash Burnley in 3 weeks' time, 4-0, then sure, whatever, maybe. That's what I want to see from Huddersfield this year. More dominant displays. I want to see more 3-0, 4-0s. We won a lot, but it was always like, oh, when's it coming? Let's brush teams aside now for a bit. My second place is Sheffield United. I think that they took a while, a bit like us last year, took a while to get going, and that probably set them off not reaching the heights that they're playing sometimes put them at. I think they'll have learned from that. I think their fans out of the 4 teams in the playoffs are probably the least optimistic of going up. They just sort of accepted, okay, we're not lucky to be here, but this is a good place for us. Whereas the rest of us were like dying to go up.
Yeah.
I think Sheffield are gonna, as a result, they're gonna pay positively for that, and they'll get their rewards of a nice, tidy second place finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shout there. Good shout. Now, obviously, if anybody has been following my prediction, there is only one remaining team left for
You
me.
don't say.
And if anybody's worked it out, it is, of course, Burnley, who I believe will be very much raring to get back up straight away. And I think that they will really hit the ground running in the Championship. I think that they were a team that, yeah, it was a struggle for them last year. It really was. But I believe that they've obviously made the signings as well, which has really impressed me from that regard for Burnley. Obviously, if you look at the signings that they've made, obviously, they've really made it. Obviously, Scott Twine from MK Dons, who, okay, you could say that he's, inexperienced at this level, but he's still got the qualities and he still scores goals here week in, week out. So I think that was a fantastic signing for them. I think they've made, obviously, a few other, they've actually got a few Manchester City players, which one on loan and one on a free transfer. But again, these players are at Manchester City for a reason, or they have been. So it's good business to get these youngsters in, and because they are ready to step up. And yeah, I think that Burnley, okay, they've obviously lost a few. Obviously got Vincent Kompany as manager now. Okay, he's very inexperienced, but I still feel like he's got the qualities. You can see he's got a clear plan, and I think that he will be successful with Burnley. And I think that I just feel like they will go up as champions. I really do, because I'm probably waffling now. I'm trying to explain, but yeah, Burnley for me are going to be the front runners, but I think it'll be a close race for sure. But yeah, like I say, got nothing but praise for Burnley, to be honest with you. A great club, like I said earlier. Obviously, yeah, it was a shame to see them go down, if I'm honest with you. It would have not been nice to see them stay up, but of course, in another aspect, it's great to kind of see them back in the Championship as well, in terms of obviously visiting Turf Moor again, and obviously them coming to us, which is our opening game. And I think that obviously they may kind of start off slow, Burnley, but I think that they'll find the pace very quickly after that. And they'll really find something. But anyway, I'll shut up now because I keep waffling. Well, yeah, Burnley are my Championship winners for the new season.
I'll keep it short and sweet to get to the hour mark. My winner, Norwich, I think comfortably winners. I don't think there'll be a team that really gets close to them. I think Dean Smith is a good manager, and I think he's often underlooked by a lot of people. The job he did at Villa, he turned them around. He got them back to where they needed, or on the path to where they needed to be. And I think he was unlucky to lose his job. But yeah, I think Norwich, they always seem to manage to keep the core group of their players when they get relegated. Timo Pukki, I think, is going to have a great year up front if they can keep hold of him. Because he's the big question mark, I think, over there. But yeah, I just think Norwich are going to, hopefully we don't lose 7-0 to them again. I don't think we will. But I just think Norwich are going to be that. I think they'll just win the league comfortably. It's their business model. It's just what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify, we've now come to the end of our predictions. It's been great, this stream, actually. It's been good fun. Of course it is. It's great to kind of do these kind of shows. And I'm going to be doing League One and League Two and Premier League in the coming days as well. So please do join me, everybody, for that. I think it's only fair that I do all of the leagues. The Football League and obviously the Premier League. But yeah, I'll definitely do that. But yeah, just to clarify as well, I think in the playoff race, I think Middlesbrough will go up. So yeah, putting it out there, Middlesbrough to go up. for me next season in the and obviously I've already decided my automatic places. So yeah,
Can't wait for Rotherham to win the league now.
I know. It's one of those, isn't it? But we're just gonna have to wait. But it's certainly going to be intriguing to watch, and yeah, I am excited for it to all get going again, and we'll just have to see. But yeah, so yeah, that is it. We have hit just over the hour mark. It's been fantastic as always to have you on, James. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's always interesting to see where other people kind of put teams. It's just good fun, isn't it? But yeah, as always, a pleasure to have you on the channel. But yeah, also kind of thank you everybody for coming on today. I really appreciate everybody coming on. If you do like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, and comment your predictions if you wish. Obviously, this will be going on to the YouTube channel, so yeah, if you watch it back, let me know what you think of my predictions. Let me know whatever. Maybe that's a bold thing to say because I may be getting loads of abuse now on my channel, but it's just my opinion. It's all good fun in every aspect. So that is it. So yeah, I will be doing just kind of thinking what I've got planned coming up. I'll definitely be doing I'll be covering a bit of the Women's Euros in the coming days until the end of the tournament. I'll also be doing, kind of predictions, like I said. So it's a busy time for the channel, but I want to keep consistent with it, and kind of keep going with it, really. Like I said, I have rebranded the channel. It suits my model very perfectly, obviously. With being a big town fan, so I wanted to have it more of a town kind of twist on it, but still talk football in general as well. So yeah, that's what I've decided. So yeah,
I like the new logo. It's sharp.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, he's a great logo, and as always, Matthew Daly in the chat helped design the logo. So big up to yourself, Matthew, for that. Thank you. But yeah, I'll be doing a watch along to the women's game, not on my channel though, later on, but on Leicester, on one of the Leicester channels actually. Chris, who I've got to know through YouTube, Leicester Till I Die channel, will be covering the tea time game. So yeah, if you do want to come and join, I'll post a link in my social pages in the next few minutes. But yeah, I'm waffling, I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.